Hello book friends, Terri from Terri Talks Books, or Ms. Terri B here on YouTube. Today I'm going to be doing a mid-month check-in for the month of December 2025. I will be talking about books. I will be talking a little bit about something I don't usually talk about, my calendar, my journal. I have some thoughts. The new year is coming and I have some thoughts. And I may end up having to do a separate video, but these are just some preliminary thoughts, and I will do that at the end in case you're not interested in that. But before I get going on all of this fun, I want to talk about my tea. The tea I'm drinking today. This was gifted to me by my sister. Thank you, sister. It's cinnamon orange. It's a black tea and it is infused with fruit and spices. Now, there is nothing new about that type of tea, but this one's special. It's just called cinnamon orange, and I think it is Village Roaster. I think they're in Colorado. This tea. I've had teas like this before, but this is different. This one had somebody blending the tea, the fruit, the spices, who really knew what they were doing. It's kind of like blending wine. Whoever did this got it so right. It is so good. Usually when I have a tea like this, there's one or two notes that just stick out and slap me across the face. It might be the vanilla, it might be the cinnamon, it might be cloves. Sometimes you can't even taste the tea. This one was just done so beautifully, so tastefully. It's so balanced. And it has a little natural sweetness from maybe the cinnamon. I'm not sure what's giving it the natural sweetness, but oh, so good. So if you're interested, maybe look up Village Roaster, maybe in Colorado, cinnamon orange. It looks like that. Sorry guys, there is just no information on this. Complete lack of information on the package. So, oh, good stuff. Yum, yum. I had to do a shout out. Nobody's paying me for that. I just liked it that much. So let's get into the books, shall we? Okay, I'm going to start out with, I don't want to call it a failure, but I want to start out with my quote-unquote failure. You've seen this before. A Long Petal of the Sea by Isabel Allende. This was the December read for my book club. Fully intended on reading this, was looking forward to reading it. Then things started happening. I was already struggling with staying focused. I was starting books and putting them down and not finishing them, and there was nothing wrong with any of the books really. It was me. Just no focus. Bouncing all over the place. Unlike me. October, November. And then at Thanksgiving, some personal things happened that just threw everything off. Somebody went to the hospital on Thanksgiving Day. It wasn't me, and they're okay, they're fine, but it was just not how I'd planned to spend Thanksgiving and the day after, and the day after that. So there was that. And then they changed the time for book club meeting, which was yesterday, and I said, no. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not doing it. I'm going to put this on the shelf, and I will come back to this at some point because I do want to read this book, and I do want to read more Isabel Allende. So, failure? Not really. Just things happened, and I felt weird. So it didn't get read. And I decided that I needed to just roll with that, not beat myself up over it. That's why I don't want to call it a failure. You know, it's like, no, that's not working for me right now. So what did I do instead? You've seen this book before too. The Secret Christmas Library by Jenny Colgan. I got this fairly recently. I decided that what I really wanted to do was to pick up this new book that I'd picked up recently. Christmas, mystery, romance, Scottish castle, in the snow, over Christmas. Oh my goodness. What wouldn't be to like about this? It was so much fun. It was so much fun. There was even a private train car. Think Orient Express. Very luxurious and beautiful. Came with its own butler who tastefully came and went as needed. Just would be there. Yeah, that kind of thing. Oh, it was so lovely. It was just so lovely. So what this book reminded me of, I'll say mystery romance, but what it reminded me of is those books like Nancy Drew or Trixie Belden, where you have these preteens or teens running around solving a mystery and having an adventure, and there's not an adult to be found anywhere. Who needs them? Loved those books when I was young. Absolutely loved them. It reminded me some of that, only they're all adults. And there is an adult romance. Doesn't even happen until the very end, with one or two steamy, spicy scenes that are adult. I prefer the shut the door and let me imagine version of that kind of thing. I have a great imagination, just saying. So, but it was still tastefully done, and it was not overwhelming. It was just part of the story, and it didn't even happen till the end. So there's that. This was just so much fun. I gave it a 3 in Goodreads because of what it is, but on the fun factor, it's more like a 4 or 4.5. So when I rate books, I mean, there's so many elements to it. There maybe is an overall rating. There's the structure and writing rating. There's the fun factor. How much did I enjoy it, right? So overall, this is probably about a 3-star book, which is fine, you know, and it was fun. It was fun. So The Secret Christmas Library by Jenny Colgan, if you're looking for that kind of book, you'll probably have fun. Yeah. I think I actually read the back of it to you before, so if you need to know more, there you go. You can freeze that and read it. Okay, so I read that. Then I finished Didion and Babitz by Lili Anolik. I was going to try and have that finished by the end of November for Nonfiction November, and it was a bit of a buddy read. I know, bit of a buddy read is an odd way of saying it, but I'll just say I buddy read it with Britta Bohler, and I'll let her either say something or not say something on her own. But I just finished this last night, and I'm so glad I finished it. This is part of a reading project for me. Didion, Babitz, the whole LA, New York City thing I've talked about before. So this was important for me to read it. Did I say the author name? Lili Anolik. Now, this book was a bit of a disappointment. It's very gossipy, and there were some writing style issues. Lili Anolik didn't work for me. But I'm still very glad I read it. And there were some surprises, like in a good way, that I want to talk about. I want to do a separate review of this. I think I need to, because of my own personal project. I want to document that, and I want to talk about this with all of its wonder and warts. Okay. So I finished it. Yay. Yay. So that was 2 books I finished since, let's just say, Thanksgiving, I guess. Then what am I reading now? I'm reading The Warden by Anthony Trollope. This is a buddy read with Shelly Swearingen. We are reading this the second half of December. I went ahead and got started. I'm only about 30 pages in. It's a very slender book. we should have it finished by the end of the month. But I wanted to see how I was going to do with Trollope. What kind of reading speed was this going to require? You know, is it something that I need to leave more time because it's going to take me a while? Like Dickens seems to take me forever. It's not hard. They just seem to take me forever to read. So I kind of wanted to get in here. So I read 30 pages and I'm really liking it. This is the Chronicles of Barsetshire. And I think Trollope and I are really going to get along. And I'm looking forward to reading more of Trollope and also more of Dickens, and maybe someday be able to do a comparison of the two for me. And so that might be in the future, but first I need to read some. So I'm working on that. Just got started. And I talked about the only Trollope I remember ever reading before was a short story called Christmas at Thompson Hall. And I told you I couldn't find my book. I found it. It's a beautiful little hardback penguin. It's so pretty. I was sad when I couldn't find it. And so I found it, and I did enjoy Christmas at Thompson Hall. I remember that much. It has been a while. It has been a while since I read that. So, but I wanted to flash this up here on the screen and say, I found it. Then another one that I am currently reading is one that I started early this year, and I said I wanted to finish this by the end of the year. And there's no good reason for not having just finished it other than I don't want it to end. This is such a lovely book. I love it so much. The Backyard Bird Chronicles by Amy Tan. I'm loving this book. And I think, honestly, the only reason it's not done, I just don't want it to end. So this one was a gift last year at Christmas. So I did want to finish it by the end of the year. I didn't want to keep it laying around because of my weird reasons. Still have the Christmas card tucked in. It's tucked in. And this is the format. It's like field journal entries with sketches. And then throughout there are more formal works that she's done, and includes like this absolutely gorgeous artwork. This is all Amy Tan. This is all her. So I'm pretty sure I will have this finished by the end of the month, and I'm going to literally put this one on the bedside table because this is perfect to read at the end of the day. I can read as many entries as I want. It's not hard to read. It's so enjoyable. There's nothing stressful about it whatsoever. So I'm working on that one. And then I have two books that I want to pick up in the next day or two. Well, one that I want to pick up in the next day or two, and the other one I'm hoping to fit in before the end of the year. We'll see. So Fannie Flagg, A Redbird Christmas, and you have seen this. This was one of my possible Christmas reads. So I think I'm going to go ahead and get this one started in the next day or so. And there's Fannie Flagg. She wrote Fried Green Tomatoes at the Whistle Stop Cafe. I never saw the movie, never read the book, and I don't think I've actually read any other of her works. So I am looking forward to reading this one, and I do want to get it started. And it should be a very pleasant read. I'm expecting it to be Christmassy and pleasant, and probably won't take me long. This was, oh my, copyright 2004. This is older. And then another one that I would like to have read before the end of the year, by the end of the month, is Craig Johnson, Depth of Winter. This is part of the Longmire series. So crime, mystery, crime fiction, set in Wyoming. This particular book, he's going to be going down into northern Mexico. And it is a continuation of the book in the series just prior to this. So I really do need to read it before I've completely lost any memory of what was going on in that book. And my husband's also waiting for me to read it and give it to him fairly patiently, I would say. So I've watched all the Longmire series. I started reading the books long ago and loved them and have just continued reading them. And when the series came out, I was kind of skeptical, but it is a wonderful TV series. The author, Craig Johnson, had a lot to say about the making of that. There are some differences, but it stays in the spirit of his series and his characters. So either one is wonderful. And I don't find a problem both watching the show, it's ended, but watching that and reading at the same time, I just I've enjoyed both of them very much. So whichever one you choose to do, or if you want to both read the series and watch the series, I highly recommend it. It is excellent. It looks like it was a Netflix. Yeah, I know. Get that off. I don't think Depth of Winter refers to the time of year or anything like that. I can't remember if it does, but I think it probably refers to like a state of mind or a state of being or something like that. So these are wonderful books. So we've got Sheriff Longmire, his best friend since they were kids, Henry Standing Bear. I don't remember which tribe he belongs to, but he and Walt are often working together to solve crimes. And there's kind of a Native American, Indigenous American, however you want to refer to it, supernatural element sometimes. So anyway, this is one of my favorite series ever. I would like to read that really soon. I usually stop doing everything else I'm doing and just read the book and finish it in a day and a half. Usually how those go. So it's doable. Okay, let's move on to something. I didn't plan on doing any more book hauls until after Christmas, but I picked up 2 books for my Mary Shelley project in 2026. This first one is the 1818 text of Frankenstein. Now, I've read Frankenstein, but it was the 1831, 32 text, not the 1818 original text. I thought I had a copy. I guess not. Couldn't find one. Couldn't find any record of having one. So I went ahead and bought this. So this was just kind of a random, I think I want to buy that and have it ready to go for my project. So I may indeed be reading Frankenstein. I didn't know as though I would do a reread of Frankenstein because I've read it several times. But since I have the 1818 text, I might feel like I should do that for my project. And then I also picked up The Last Man by Mary Shelley, which is a dystopian, apocalyptic from her time period. I mean, I don't know what the setting year is, but written by Mary Shelley. So, and I find this interesting because when you read about it, you get a lot of 21st century wording, climate fiction, and environmental this, environmental that. I want to separate all of this 21st century talk out and read the text. So I'm ignoring, there's a foreword by Rebecca Solnit. I'm ignoring all that until after I've read it and thought about it, because it's a whole subject area that you could address. Do you want to read this from author's intent and eyes from the long ago? Or do you want to read it putting 21st century agendas? I'll just word it that way. I'm not necessarily throwing out a judgment either way on that. I'm just saying that's what it is. And I want to read this without that first and see what I think. And see what I think Mary Shelley was doing, saying, because it's not this isn't right as far as the author's intent, I don't think. So anyway, it's a thing. And I know we could, discuss that maybe sometime in the future, maybe after I've read it and then gone over the foreword and maybe some critical works that discuss that. So I'm looking forward to this. And I already talked about some of the other things for that project in a previous video, so I won't go back over those. But Low Door is one I want to read, written by Mary Shelley. And then I have 2 nonfiction books I want to read. Can't remember if I showed you anything else. So that's my Mary Shelley book coming up. Then, this is going to be kind of random. Related, but random. Someone, Lynnette, hello Lynnette, if you're watching, made me this bookmark. There is a little bookworm. This is fabric, right? It's got this cute little loop on top, little ribbon loop on top, 2-sided fabric. I've been using this since Lynnette gave this to me recently. I love it. Thank you, Lynnette. And I haven't used it yet, but I've got it sitting out. I'm going to put it in one of these books as well. It's one of those corner bookmarks. I usually see them made out of paper, but she sewed one for me. It's got the cute little bookworm over here too. So I can't wait to, you just slide that down over the page and it marks your page. I can't wait to use this one. So thank you. That was so nice. I love it. It doesn't take a lot to make me happy. This is so exciting for me. Okay, I think that's all the bookish stuff. I have a few minutes that I can talk about some calendar journaling. I also have my fountain pen out and some ink that I bought. So we'll see if I get to that. But the new year is coming, and I think I'll do perhaps a separate video after the new year, or after maybe I settle my mind on exactly what I'm going to do. But how I was handling my calendar, how it was handling my journaling, and I'll put that in quotes, air quotes, journaling, how I was handling all of that, and the tracking of my reading journal, reading thoughts, however you want to refer to that, plus just the basic data. What did I read this year? How many pages was it? What's the title? Who's the author? When did I read it? But I also want to maybe capture some thoughts besides just what I've put here on YouTube. I find it difficult to go back for my own purposes sometimes and find where I've talked about something. And I would like to maybe do something about that. I used to blog, so I had a written record, which was a little closer to what I want. Just more of an online reading journal, if you will. So anyway, what was I doing this last year? This last year was an experiment, and I decided to go from what I usually do back into rings, where you have your calendar, note paper, whatever all you have, with the metal rings, okay? There's some benefits to that. There are some drawbacks to that. I got this lovely leather cover with the rings in it by my friend Rowena. Okay, I got this from her. I did purchase this. And she has a company named Sojourner USA, and I will link her information below if you're interested. She does rings, she does folio version, traveler's notebook version of leather journal covers, okay? And she has them in different sizes. She does some custom work. You would have to talk to her about that. And I'm shouting her out. Number one, she's my friend, and she does beautiful work. I love the whole reason why she's doing this. And I'm not getting anything for this. I just love what she does. And she always has this little logo here, branded. It looks like it's branded. I think it's branded into the leather. So this is the one I used last year, and it's gorgeous. This is a natural leather, and you can see how she's got that's to hold the rings in. And it's got an elastic band to just kind of hold it shut because it's a stiffer leather. You can hear that. So it kind of wants to pop open. So I've got this band on it. I have a, what do you call this? Separate piece leather separating calendar from some other stuff going on. It's got a pen loop. I've got a Ollie bookmark, magnetic bookmark there. Okay. And then, you know, front back, we've got pockets galore going on here. That's my fun little googly eye banana. It's a postcard someone made that I know. What else can I say about this? In the back, I've got plastic holders of different kinds, business card. This one's a zippered pouch. I have little tabbies for marking pages, little sticky tabs. These are stickers. I'm not going to flip that over, but you'd see stickers I've got tucked in that one. Yeah, there are some wonderful things about this. And the idea for me was to have my calendar with I've got the today marker. So if I want to go to, you know, a particular date, I can, what do I have in here? Here's a blank one. Apparently I didn't put anything down here, at least not yet. December 23rd. So I've got this side for writing appointments by the hour. There's a little space down here. Got some notes over here. This is for to do. And then if you get to the weekend, you know, it's like Saturday, Sunday kind of a thing. And like nobody does anything on those days. So it's a little odd. I need the same spread for every single day of the week. So there's that, and it'll kind of keep me going and organized, and I can clip things on if there's a, you know, a business card with an appointment or something, I clip it on. Now here's the thing with this. When I did this, I've got a separate section in the front of monthly tabs for the whole year with the calendar spread. And I just found this awkward. I was planning on having a one-stop shop here. Calendar, journaling in the back. Little things in it. I could use it as a wallet. Little, you know, like the little pouchy things in the back. It actually made me more disorganized. I had too many disparate pieces going on the way I happen to handle things. This just didn't work. So I want to repurpose this beautiful leather cover with rings in it for some other purpose. You'll have to stay tuned. I still need to decide what I'm going to exactly use this for, but it's beautiful. I have other covers by Rowena, and you'll see another one in a moment. So I will use it. It's just I'm not doing it this way. Again, that just left me really disorganized. So this really needs its own video, doesn't it? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to something that worked for me. Rings used to work for me when I was working. In fact, I used this kind of thing, only bigger. But this is what's working for me now. It's a Moleskine. Look at that. I do have a piece that I can strap onto the front here. It's got kind of elastic. And then on the front, it has a holder for the pen, a loop for the pen, a zippered pouch. It's pretty low profile and just gets strapped onto the front of this thing. Then I have the calendar itself. This is the format. There's a block for each day of the week. One page, 1 week, 1 page. I don't like how little space I have down here Saturday, Sunday. I do things on Saturdays and Sundays. But I'll just have this free form over here. If I have, you know, an appointment, the time gets written in, what the appointment is. Any other notes, I can just write in here. If I need to extend it to this blank lined page, I can do that. I can use this for journaling, such things like that. Now, here's the thing the way, and it's all in this little tiny, skinny, I can put this in pretty much any bag I have. I think that'll work better for me. As nice as this is, it's actually a little bit chunky. It's a little bit chunky, and it just wasn't working. So, I think I'm going back to that. And when I journal, I do something more of like a 5-year journal. I don't dump my feelings onto the page, really. I don't do, not explicitly. I don't do that kind of journaling. It's more of a commonplace book, or just short little documentations of, you know, went to the movies with so-and-so, loved it, we watched this. And so I can put that on my calendar page, you know, 5:15, movies with so-and-so, gonna watch this. Then when I come out, 5 stars, excellent, I loved it, everybody go see it, you know, in my little space. Documents what I did that day. It's right there. And then I have that blank page next to it if I want to extend thoughts, or, you know, do more commonplace book kind of things. I have a quote that I came across while I was reading. I could just jot it in there. Okay. And then I have this other leather cover, also made by Rowena at Sojourner USA. And I currently have this set up. It's a folio, so it just has, in the front and back, I'll show you the back, pockets to slide into from either side. So I've got, I'll do that. See, and I've actually got 2 skinny paper Moleskine notebooks in here. There's 2 of them in here. So I think what I might do is I could even put this hardcover Moleskine in here on one side and have a blank soft cover one also in here, tucked in the other side. That way I can actually have a a journal, a writing journal right there with it in this one little space. So if I put this in here, it's even skinnier, but even if I keep them separate, I'm still not doing too much, and I'm still using a lovely Sojourner cover by Rowena. So that's what I'm thinking for my calendaring and journaling and capturing maybe some thoughts, and keep them all in one place like this. I think there was just something too scattered about this way I was handling it there. So there's that. Then my sister sent me, she went to New York City, and she went to the Strand bookstore. It says here, Lost in the Stacks. You know, it says Strand bookstore down here. It's got the little logo back here. It's hard back, just lined, blank, lined pages. It's got a lovely little ribbon marker. I'm thinking of using this as a dedicated reading journal and information gathering place. I think I want to do that, and I'm going to do that in here. Now I can write on one of the pages in here, one of the pages in here, and then if I need to transfer it to that, if I just need to not forget something, that will work for me. But often, you know, I'll go to a coffee house, or I'll check myself back in the corner of the library. I can very easily take all 3. That is not a problem. That is not a problem for me to do that, and I'll probably have my briefcase or book bag or something like that. These would easily fit down in there along with my book and or my laptop. I mean, just depends. I think this will work for me. Those are my thoughts as of now. And then very quickly, here's one of, this is my nicer fountain pen. This is a Conklin. Look how pretty that is. Oh my gosh, it's like the starry sky at night. And it is magnetic cap. I think I have a fine point nib on it. I need to look at that. I can't remember. It writes more like a fine point to me. But it's very comfortable in my hand, either like this or posted. Either way will work for me. It makes it a little heavier this way. Just depends. Has a very satisfying, did you hear that? Magnetic click to hold that on there. It's a beautiful pen. I've enjoyed writing with it. And I'm hoping that when I do some of my journaling to play with my fountain pens this year. I don't have too many. I have 2 others, 3 others. One of them is a disposable Pilot Varsity. Excellent. It's excellent for the person who wants to write with a fountain pen and have that flowing ink experience, but needs something cheap and maybe disposable, not have to play with ink cartridges, or in the case of, I got myself some ink, there's potential mess when you start filling your own cartridges or your own converters, I guess is what it's called. This is beautiful. I've been wanting this for a long time. It's oxblood. It's kind of a brownish red, not sepia, but a brownish red. It's such a beautiful, beautiful, deep brownish red. This one's by Diamine, and so I've got my bottle of that. You're not going to be able to really tell the color, unfortunately. If the lighting, if I do it in the light, I can see it a little bit, but it's gorgeous. Most of you remember oxblood leather shoes from the way back when. You might do some reading and come across that. It's this color. The shoes would be this color, kind of a brown, but with a lot of red in it. Anyway, got myself some Diamine ink. And as soon as I finish up the cartridge that's in here, there's a blue cartridge in here, I'm going to have my first fill it up with ink myself, potential ink everywhere session. I'll let you know how that goes. Anyway, those are just some fun things. I wanted to talk about all the things, the books, the possible plans. I'm all over the map, I know. If you're still here, thank you. Leave me a thumbs up emoji or something to let me know you were here. Of course, if you have something you would like to say in the comments, please, let me know about your journaling habits, your calendar, diary, agenda situation. Are you happy with what you're doing? Maybe we can talk about this a little bit more in the new year after I settle in. What are you reading? Have you read any of these books that I mentioned? The possibilities are endless. Let's chat in the comments below, and I will talk to you all later, book friends. Bye-bye.